Here we go!
What's up YouTube, this is Poker Plays bringing you the first video on how to count combos in No Limit Holdem. Before I get started, I want to talk to you about why this is so important. This is basically the bare essentials of poker. When you make a call on the river with ace high, this is the reason why. When you make a call with third pair, this is the reason why. When you fold with a flush, this is the reason why. This is such an important aspect of poker. This is the bare bones of poker. This is one of the most profitable things you could do to understand. This is where it all stems from. Counting combos. Why your villain's range consists of 80% bluffs, 20% value hands. Why it's so hard for your villain to have a flush on the river. This is the bare essentials of all those conclusions that you come up with at the table. And the more you understand this, the more money you're going to make at the table. I promise you that. So let's get started. But before we do, I want to talk about this quote by Mike Carroll, the poker professor. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not, but he's in a lot of poker magazines. He's done some books in the past. Pretty good author. You know, it's worth a read if you ever see an article by him. But the quote I picked out was, "It's hard to convince a winning player that he's losing." Now, it might mean something different to you, but to me, what this means is you can never stop working in poker. You can never stop evolving. You're never going to figure out the game. You always have to evolve with the game. You always have to stay above the curve, because you might be a huge winner one year and then a huge loser next year. Why? Because you didn't improve on your game. It might be bad luck. It might not be. It might just be, your game. That your opponents are adjusting and you're not adjusting with them. So that's something I always like to keep in the back of my mind. Let's move on to the good stuff. What this video will include. Well, it's going to include counting combos. Also, I'm going to leave timestamps in the description below in case you already know something. Just go ahead and fast forward to it. Feel free to. So the first part is basics of counting combos, counting pocket pairs, counting sets and quads, and finally an example hand of counting combos. Alright guys. I went over this a little bit already, but I'm going to go over it again. Why is understanding hand combos important? Well, every professional poker player has some understanding of counting combos. That's how they determine whether to make a call on the river or not. Trust me, in a certain aspect, everyone who plays poker has some idea of counting combos, and the more you understand it, the better you are going to be. I promise you that. The more we understand hand combos, the more we can exploit our opponents. And what I mean by this, or what I'm trying to explain to you, is like, let's say we have a 4 straight on the river, 50 big blind pot. We have top 2 or top set, and we want to get called by a worse hand, right? We don't want to just check back on the river. Now, if we want to get called by a worse hand, what worse hands are gonna call us? Worst 2 pair, top pairs, and let's say we're facing a fish, we want to make a small bet, right? We won't bet maybe 10 big blinds to get called by that. Or if we have the nut straight, maybe we want to bet 50 big blinds, pot. Or we want to shove, because fish don't fold straights. They don't do it, beluga whale theorem. So that's something to definitely keep important. Now, what would be a terrible bet there? Probably like 25 big blinds would be a pretty terrible bet, right? Because he's going to fold his worst 2 pairs, and he's only going to call you with straights. But at the same time, those straights would have paid a bigger price. So that's why it's so important to maximize your bet sizing, because even making bad bets is just as bad as making bad calls. So that's something very important to understand. Whether you're playing online or live, you're always facing a range of hands. You're not facing one hand. Now, I know some people can soul read, and I've done it before. I'm sure you've done it many times. It's hard to make soul reads because there's skin over the souls, so that makes it hard to see the soul. So that's why I always tell people you're facing a range of hands. You're not facing one hand. There are going to be certain spots where like he's 100% bluffing at the time, of course, but for the most part, we always want to think in poker that we're facing a range of hands, not a one particular hand, and I cannot stress that enough. Please get that out of your mind if that's how you think. Let's start with the basics. How many combos of ace king are there in the deck? Well, what do we know about ace king? Well, we know there's 4 aces and 4 kings, so we multiply 4 by 4 and they equal 16 combos. That goes for ace deuce, it goes for queen 5, 10-9, but that's different when it's suited. So let's go over an example of that. Let's take ace king of hearts for example. What do we know about ace king of hearts? Well, we know that there's 1 ace of hearts, 1 king of hearts, so we multiply 1 by 1, that equals 1 combo, right? So it's the same thing for ace of spades, the same thing for ace 5 of spades, king, jack of hearts, same thing. Always 1 combo of whenever you have 2 suits together. How many combos of aces are there in a deck? Well, instead of showing you the math behind it, I'm just going to tell you that there's 6 combinations of every pocket pair in the deck. And aces, for example, I'm just going to illustrate to you that there's 6 different combinations of aces in the deck. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Combos for sets and quads. I'm going to use this a lot for example because I think I can explain both of them at the same time. If you're not familiar with a set, just basically that's when you have a pocket pair and you match one of those cards on the board. How many combos of 5s are there in a deck? Well, there's 3 combinations of 5s left in the deck. Instead of showing you the math, I'm just going to illustrate to you. And then for the combos of 6s, there's only 1 combination of 6s left in the deck to make quads. Alright, let's move on. For an example hand, I'm going to use king diamonds, 10 of hearts. Flop is 10 of spades, 9 of clubs, 5 of hearts. Our opponent is loose passive. How many combos of top pair, top kicker, 2 pair, over pairs, and sets can he have? Well, let's break it down. For top pair, top kicker, we know there's 4 aces in the deck and 2 tens because we have 1 10 in our hand, 1 10 on the flop, leaving 8 combinations. 10-9, we know there's only 2 tens left in the deck because we have a 10 in our hand, 10 on the flop, so there's only 2, then 3 nines left in the deck, so we have 6 combinations. 10-5, 2 tens, 3 5, 6 combinations. 9-5, 3 nines, 3 5s, 9 combinations. Sets of tens, there's only 1 left in the deck because we have a 10 in our hand, 10 on the flop, leaving only 2 tens left in the deck, or 1 set. I hope that was clear. Nines, there's 3 sets of nines, 3 sets of fives, 6 combinations of jacks, 6 combinations of queens, 3 combinations of kings because we have a king in our hand, therefore discounting the combinations of pocket pairs by half, leaving only 3 overpairs left. And then for aces, we have 6 overpairs, 6 combinations of pocket aces in the deck, leaving a total of 57 combinations. All right, now I have a question for you. How many combos of draws can villain have? Let's take all all gut shots and open-ended straight draws. Please post in the comments below, and hopefully you get it right. If you don't, I'll work it with you until you do. And I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like it, favorite, subscribe, share it with your mom and your dad and your family, and watch it, maybe at dinner time or something like that. So always stay focused and keep on grinding. All right, guys, I'm Poker Plays, and I'm signing out.